Okay, the sign number homework sheet, like I promised, the very first one was it had a lot for you to do, so you had to be pretty careful. The first thing it said was to pick 6 numbers from 1 to 16, I believe. So let's just randomly pick numbers. Let's see, 2, 8. I know I have to alternate them. 9, maybe 6. I like the primes. 11, 15. I said through 16. And then it said to put signs in front of them, alternate them, plus, minus, plus, minus, plus, minus. All right, so I have 3 positives and then 3 negatives. And then it said to combine them 2 at a time and see what you get. So 2 take away 8 is negative 6. Positive 9 take away 6 is positive 3. And positive 11 minus 15 is negative 4. And then again, 2 at a time. So now I'll do these 2. Negative 6, you owe me 6, you pay me 3. You still owe me 3. And now I have a negative 4. So then when you combine those 2, if you lose 3 and you lose 4, you lost 7. All right, so that was the first part. The second part said, take all of the pluses and add them all together. Oh, I did this nice. 11 and 11 is 22. Or 9 and 11 is 20 plus 2. Whatever you do, you get 22. And then take all the negatives. So let's see, that's 8, 6, and 15. These 2 make 14. You have to be careful because if you get the signs wrong, you're going to do this part wrong. So add these numbers together. 8 plus 6 plus 15. 6 and 15 make 21. Plus 8 is 29. So no matter what order you add them in, you're going to get the same number. And this is easy. It's that to subtract them and keep the larger sign. So 29 take away 22 is 7, and keep the sign of the larger number. The bottom one is certainly faster to do. I mean, it's up to you whether you decide that it's easier to do. I think it is easier to do. There's a lot more, you're doing a lot more operations when you just do them 2 at a time. I would prefer you just add up all the pluses, add up all the minuses, and then subtract. You basically have a lot less steps, and it's a lot easier to keep track of everything. So that's the first one. All right, the second one. There's a 100% chance you'll be doing this. Now, he gives you a problem. I don't want you to do the problem. It's too easy. I want you to do the problem incorrectly twice and explain the mistake. So now, you know the order of operations. Addition is always dead last. So the first mistake a student would do, and this is so easy to make, students will just do 12 plus 6 and make it 18. So this is the first mistake. They will add at the beginning of the problem, but addition is supposed to be dead last on your priority list of order of operations. So you can't do that. So this is the first mistake that you would make. The second mistake, so you don't fall for the trap of doing 12 plus 6, but you'll fall for a trap here. You'll see the M, right? There's D, there's M. And you'll go for this. And is it, but PEM does. M comes before D. M does not come before D. M and D, as I've said in class, are equal. One of them is not a higher priority than the other. They are dead equal. Therefore, you do which one you see first in the absence of parentheses. So you must divide before you multiply. So multiplying first is another mistake. That's all I wanted you to do. Tell me the mistake. I didn't want you to do the damn problem. I don't want the answer. I don't give a shit what the answer is. Most of you that did this problem gave me the answer. I don't care what the answer is. I want to know the mistakes that people would make doing it. And I just showed you the 2 mistakes. Okay, problem 3. I want you to pick a number for the question mark. I mean, I'm going to pick 5. Why not? And then do it. Now, while I'm doing it, because the second part of this question says, what's a mistake a student would make? Well, the mistake would be to multiply the 3 by the 5 and make a 15 there. And then do 15 times 15, right? 15 squared. So that's the mistake that a student would do, is that they would do the multiplication before the power. But remember, in your priority list, parentheses, exponents, powers must be done before multiplication. So you have to shut the power off before you hop the fence. Do not hop the fence with the power on. So I'm going to do 3 times 3, 3 squared, which is 9. Then I'm going to do my multiplying. 5 times 9, 45. All right, so the mistake would be to multiply first instead of doing the power. And you pick whatever number you want there. You may have gotten something different than me because you picked a different number. Okay, the fourth one. I can't think of a single question that more people got wrong. I think if 14 to 15 people turned in that assignment, one person did this correctly. Everybody else did it wrong. And I mean everybody. It said to pick an odd number between 5 and 11. So, I don't know, 7. Pick an even number between 5 and 11. 10. Then it said take -1 and raise it to those powers. So it said to do -1 and raise it to the odd power, and then take -1 and raise it to the even power. So now, as I discussed in class, no matter how many times you multiply 1, all right, mistake I see at this level, I give people 1 to the third, and they tell me it's 3. Because apparently 1 times 1 times 1 is 3. I mean, it's kind of ridiculous. No matter how many times you multiply a 1, you get a 1. What we're concerned about here is I don't have 1, I have a -1. So what effect does the negative have on, the powers? So here, though, you have -1 7 times. But every 2 times you do it, you make a plus, right? So you make pairs, right? 2 of them, and then 2 of them, and then 2 of them, right? That's 3 pairs, right? That's 6. And then there's an odd one out. So you have a plus, a plus, a plus, and then this negative just sitting there. So when you have an odd power, it's always going to be negative. Here, you have the 10th power. So you're going to do 2, 2, 2, 2, 2, right? You make 5 pairs, right? Half 10 is 5. So you pair them up. There, you don't have any leftovers. Everybody paired up evenly. So remember, every 2 negatives is a plus. So this one has to be +1. And I'm writing the plus for emphasis. You can just write a 1. So whenever you do an even power of -1, I don't care if it's -1 to the 100th power or 128. That's even. And if you do -1 to the, 97, that's odd. This one's -1. This one's +1. Even power of -1 plus, because they pair up evenly. If the power is odd, there's 1 left over. There's always a -1 left over. So you have all these pluses and then a -1 left over. That's why the answer is negative. Okay, number 5, another question that was misunderstood tremendously by a lot of people. All it said was, what's an easy way to compute this without a calculator? So, I'm noticing a glare on the board from my computer screen, so it's annoying me. I don't want you to do it. I didn't ask you to do it. If you had a calculator and you felt kind of sadistic, you would distribute here, right? You do 8 times this, 8 times this. That's certainly not easy. So what's the easy thing to do is do what's in the parentheses. Subtract those and get -1. So the answer to that question is real simple. How do you do it easy? Do the parentheses first. Don't distribute. If you can compute the number inside easily, and you can, 917 take away 918 is -1. Then do that. I don't even want the answer. I know the answer. I know it's 8. I don't care. I didn't ask you to do that. I asked you to explain an easy way to do it. And the answer to that is do the parentheses first. And you get a small number, then you can multiply. Okay, so the 6th one had a problem that your friend supposedly did and got this answer. And you just have to explain why it's right or wrong. That doesn't mean do it. So maybe you did it wrong. I want the explanation of, first of all, in order for your friend to get a 7, your friend had to do this. The problem is your friend actually should have got -7. The only way you get a 7 when you divide by a 2 is if you had a 14 here, right? 14 divided by 2 is 7. Now, ignoring the fact that 14 divided by -2 is -7, your friend got a 14 here. Now, the only way that could have happened if he had a 5 here was that if he did 5 plus 9. So what your friend did wrong was he switched the sign. Instead of doing 5 take away 9 like you're supposed to, which is -4, he added. He did -3 squared and made it plus 9. Instead of doing -3 times 3 and getting -9, he made a plus. That's his mistake. This is all I want from you. Again, I don't want you to do the fucking problem. I want you to explain to me what's wrong. If I ask you for an explanation and you just do the question, I'm not giving you credit for it. You have to follow the directions. I want explanations are very important because it shows me the understanding that you have of the problem. So you know that he didn't get the right thing because he's not supposed to get a 14 on top. That's the only way he got a 7. Plus, he messed up his signs. He should have got a -7. All right, so that's the 6th one. Okay, number 7. I said to you that I want to know what number would go here to make this entire thing an 8. Now, if you, again, you see 2 divisions, but here are parentheses. So remember, order of operation, that's the first damn thing in your PEMDAS is the parentheses. So you have to do this first. This has to come first in your priority list. So if you're going to take 24 and divide it by a number, right? You're doing 24 divided by something, and you got 8. The only way that could happen is if this was a 3, right? 24 divided by 3 is 8. So this thing has to be a 3. So 12 divided by what makes 3? Well, it has to be a 4. You need n to be 4. So that's the only way that it would work. But the next part of the question says, what would you get if you dropped? You know, the first part of it, my lighting is really buggy today. The first part of this is not super difficult, but the second part, when I want you to do it without the parentheses, most people didn't even do that part. Drop the parentheses. Now you have to just go left to right. You have to do them as you see them. So 24 divided by 12 is 2. The problem is that 2 divided by 4, right? This is 2 divided by 4. It's a half. I think it's 0.5. Don't do this. It's a half, right? If you just divide left to right without the parentheses, this one comes first. When the parentheses are there, that one comes first. So it makes all the difference. All right, I'm gonna do one more. Okay, the last one. I mean, I didn't want to do all 10 of them. I really didn't want to do this many. It takes too long, but this is a good one to run through because you'll probably see it. So it said to run through it and explain each step. I mean, you could write a little bit. You have subtraction, you have multiplication, you have parentheses, you have addition, and you have an exponent. So parentheses take priority. Do not do 8 take away 4. It's a trap, and it's very easy to fall into that trap, so don't. So resist the urge and temptation to subtract those. You have to work on what's in the parentheses first. So what's in the parentheses is addition and a power. You already know addition is dead last on your list of priorities, so you have to do the exponent first. So the first thing you're going to do is 3 squared, which is 3 times 3, which is 9. Now, I still have parentheses there. Right? I'll put my little times. So now let me figure out what number goes in there. 1 plus 9 is 10. I'm going to drop my parentheses now. Right? I'll keep my multiplication dot there. I did it badly. Now, I did my power. I evaluated the number that was in my parentheses. Now what's left is multiplication and subtraction. Who beats who? Multiplying, again, beats subtraction every time. It's a higher priority. So you must multiply first, do 4 times 10. And now, and only now, can I subtract them. 40 take away 8 is 32. And I keep the sign of the larger number. So you had $8 and you spent 40. You owe 32. Okay, so these were the 8. You will see a lot of questions like this. You're going to see a lot of me asking you to explain things, explain why this is wrong. You know, how would you do this wrong? You know, what's the mistake this person made? And again, it shows me that you understand what the hell you're doing. If you can explain a mistake, then you really know what you're doing. All right, so hopefully this was helpful.